Thank you. So my name is Arja Miller. I come from Helsinki, Museum of Contemporary Art called KIASMA. And my topic is KIASMA and its relationship to the public space and contemporary art in public space. Let me see. Just a second. Yes, thank you, Helena, for inviting me. And I've been enjoying a lot yesterday's program and learning a lot of what you're doing also. It sounds wonderful work, what you're doing and developing a public art program here in Riga. So these are basic facts about KIASMA. I don't know if everybody is very familiar to the museum, are you? But very quickly, so it was opened 1998 and designed by American architect Stephen Hall. There was a big architecture competition before, and Stephen's entry, KIASMA, was chosen a winner from among 515 different submissions. So our main functions are temporary exhibitions, of course, collections, active audience work, and the KIASMA Theatre. And we are part of the Finnish National Gallery, together with Atheneum and Sinebrikov Art Museum. And there's also a fourth party in the under the umbrella of Finnish National Gallery, and that is the Finnish State Art Commission. So KIASMA is, right from the beginning, it has been a meeting place for people and art. So also the name, I don't know if you know, where does the name KIASMA come from? It comes from Greek language, and it means, well, different things. It means it's X, it's a crossroads, but it's also crossroads of optical nerves in medical language. So it has to do with perception and seeing, and also this idea of meeting point, of crossroads, is in the very structure of KIASMA's building, because there are like two elements crossing each other, and it's a very interesting architectural concept. But well, maybe you did know about this already. So we focus strongly on enhancing the visitor experience. We want to be as communicative and accessible as possible, an easy place to come. This means also that we want to listen to our audiences and give opportunities where their voices can be heard in different ways. And our task is, of course, to bring out the ideas of the best and the most exciting artists of our time, and through that provide inspiration and provoke thought. So we have built a long-term relationship with our audiences and succeeded pretty well, because last year we were the most visited art museum in Finland, and of course we attract visitors also from other countries. Our yearly visitor number will be this year around 200,000. And 65% of the visitors are under 35 years old, which is a very special feature in Finland if you think cultural actors as the audiences are quite young, which is great. So we are pioneering museum, at least in Finland, with our digital presence, with 400,000 web visitors. Well, you can see the figures from there, but I think the social media is also a way to communicate with audiences and have constant feedback. So that's the area we are developing very, very strongly. So these are very basic things about our collections. Maybe we skip this one, but just to let you know, we do also commissions, and because we are a museum of contemporary art, we are constantly in the edge of, or this, in this deep discussion, what is art, what can it be, and what forms can it have, and also then how can it be preserved in the terms of collection. So working at the Museum of Contemporary Art is very exciting. It's the best thing I know, because you never know what will happen next, what the artist will what kind of ideas they will invent. So then to the topic of the day, which is contemporary art in public space from KIASMA'S point of view. So in Helsinki area, we have several institutions who have a public art program and whose mission is essentially to do with public space. And I will get back to this institution in the end of my presentation. So although KIASMA has not this kind of responsibility, we don't have a special responsibility on public art, but we do have experiences and thoughts about contemporary art in public space. Sometimes our exhibitions expand to the lobby area, which can be also considered as a public space because it doesn't have an entrance fee. And sometimes the exhibitions, they expand outside of the museum. So artists propose that perhaps we could develop something outside of the museum, and depending of the content, of course. And then we have a KIASMA theater, which has a very ambitious program in its own program. It's kind of an experimental part of KIASMA, and they organize Urban Art Festival yearly since 2000, and they have made several interesting public interventions. So I will tell more very soon about them. And then there's a new initiative, which is the reason why I'm here, I guess, because in 2014 we started to discuss with Finnish State Art Commission about cooperation which aims at public work of art in the site of KIASMA. And the public competition, it was launched November 2014. And the competition is now in the process, but I will get back to this also later. So I will show you some examples of the works that has been shown in the public space in the context of our exhibitions. So these are just a couple of examples. Kimmo Schroderus is the name of the artist who has made this work called Boogie. And he had a group show together with 3 other artists called Horror Vakui at KIASMA in 2008. And I was curating that show. And Kimmo Schroderus, the artist, wanted to put one of his works, the Boogie, outside of the museum. And I have to say I really like this photo, because you can see Kimmo's Boogie in the same picture as the older, very well-known equestrian statue of Marshal Mannerheim, side by side. And I think this was more or less Kimmo's idea also, so to put his work to the dialogue with this image of a famous Finnish war hero, and to create new meanings for it. And I think that Boogie brings an element of surprise on the side of the respective war hero. The name Boogie refers to boogeyman, a legendary monster, and this brings lots of different connotations also to the figure of Marshall. Our staff, when Kimmo suggested this idea, our staff was very concerned about the safety of this new sculpture, what will happen to it, and also safety of the sculpture, but also safety of the people, so perhaps people will climb onto it and fell down. We are extra careful people in Finland, sometimes too careful, I think. But nothing happened, nothing at all. It wasn't vandalized, even though it's a really busy area around KIASMA and sometimes restless also. So nothing happened, and instead this sculpture, it caused very positive reactions and general awe, and we got negative feedback only when it was taken away and people found out that it's not permanent work. This was one example, and another is from 2008. Jeppe Hain, a very well-known series of work, modified social benches, and these benches were placed outside of KIASMA, around in the environments, different. There were quite many of them actually, and this was part of the exhibition concept called Fluid Street, which was inside, and this was actually the last curation of Maretta Jaukuri, whom many know here at KIASMA. Yes, so this work I think was quite remarkable in Helsinki because it inspired people to play, as well as Sana told us before. Is some similar elements in this. It created new kind of social behavior also. People also followed how other people behaved and commented on that. And well, sometimes Finnish people are a bit reserved. We don't say something to the strangers. So we keep it like this. So but different things like something break through. And the citizens took the work to their own use and found a new way to communicate with each other. And then I have, there's another picture. Then I have a couple of examples from this urban art festival, because I think this is something very interesting in the context of other KIASMA'S activities to do with public art also. So these are maybe, if we think future things we would like to do with public art, I think that we could forward with these kind of ideas that URB Festival has already done during earlier years. So it's been organized since 2000. So this is already a 15-year anniversary of Urban Art Festival. So there has been quite many interventions in the public space during the history of URB. For example, Argentinian artist Mariano Pensotti made a public intervention in the center of Helsinki in 2011 entitled "Sometimes I Think I See You." Pensotti, he worked with Young Writers Society in Helsinki, and he hired 4 young writers and put them to the Helsinki bus station area to observe with their laptops their surroundings and shape what they see in the stories, mixing truth and fiction. The writings were projected on the walls in real time, so bypassers could see how the stories developed. So you can see one of the writers over there, and the wire goes up to the screen and to the projector. So by simply passing through the station, people became elements in the story, and with their own actions they could take part in the act of spontaneous and shared creation. And you can imagine sometimes funny situations were emerged. A couple stays, for example here, a couple stays in front of the screen to read the projected poem. Oh, there's a poem. Let's stay here, and it was a romantic moment, obviously, for them. So let's stay here and read the poem. And suddenly they realized that the poem is talking about them. So that was the idea. And the poems were ephemeral, so they disappeared when the situation changed, and there were new people coming on, and this took place during 1 week's time. Oh, this is another poem. So a quick translation or a description of what is said there was that 3 girls are waiting with their bags and waiting for what will happen, in the weekend travel or something like that. Yes, and another example from URB Festival Artist Invention in public space was also held in the same year, 2011. An artist group, there were 3 Finnish artists, and they proposed that their work in the festival will be a live-action role game simulating a refugee camp. The work was entitled Dublin 2, and it was organized in the square near to KIASMA'S busy shopping mall. During one weekend, citizens who walked by could watch the play as performance, or if they will, they could take part to it following instructions that were given to them in the program leaflet. So the game staged a refugee camp and gave people different roles, like asylum seekers, border guards, or journalists, and very exciting situations were created. You know that there has been this psychological test that even people that consider themselves to be very, very kind and liberal, when they end up to be in certain situations, they start to behave differently. So that is what happened also in this game. So they took their role and started to act in very wild ways. And this was, of course, there was a great interest and also controversy. There's lots of discussion in Finnish media and around Helsinki, and the passers-by were asking what is happening here. And, well, the aim was, of course, to make the realities of the refugees visible. But, of course, it was very political, and it would be even more political if realized now. It showed how important social themes can be learned through art and can be learned through gaming. I think it was very interesting and pretty fierce example. So, but then to the KIASMA art competition and the thoughts around it. So we developed a competition which aims to find proposals for a work of art to the side of KIASMA, and we did this in cooperation with Finnish State Art Commission, which is actually part of the same Finnish National Gallery organization, and who buys and commissions works for the state art collection to be placed public offices and public space. The Finnish State Art Commission has produced several works of public art around Finland through invitation and through competition, so they have a large experience. From KIASMA'S viewpoint, it was important to have an open, anonymous, and international competition, so we wanted to broaden up the whole concept. And we made a great effort in formulating the competition program as well as competition rules. We didn't want to define the work's nature too strictly, not its technique, material, duration, or even location. Also, the artist members at the Finnish Art Commission were inspired to think anew the art competition. So everyone realized that the possibility to have a public work of art in the vicinity of the Museum of Contemporary Art had a great potential. So these are some quotations from the competition program. So the proposed work doesn't need to be a permanent traditional monument, but we encourage that it can be a piece of art that stirs new ideas and debate, and even inspires people to proactivity. And then if there are valid reasons to locate the work somewhere else than in the site of KIASMA, the ideas can be executed in the immediate surroundings or to accompany the building in another way, or they can be expanded into the surrounding urban space. So I don't know, this was really like a broad program or instructions, maybe too broad, but we wanted to do it in that way. And of course it was highly popular, the competition, so we had 3,065 proposals, and we are now in the middle of the process. And very unfortunately, I'm sorry that I can't share you yet the proposals we got, because they are pretty interesting, but I can tell something. And well, now 6 of the proposals has now been selected to continue to the second phase of the competition. There are 4 Finnish artists and 2 artist collectives from abroad. And if you're interested to know the names of the artists, they have been announced in the competition's website, so they are public information already, and I can of course say it, just ask me if you want to know. And I can tell also that among the 6 finalists there are various kind of proposals, also performative and an event-based works. And so it's really interesting to see how, because now the artists are developing further the ideas, so how they will be really after they have to think anew what this will be, what could this idea could be in a concrete form, more concrete form. And we will take the opportunity to organize an exhibition out of this 6 finalist proposal at KIASMA, starting very soon in January 2016, so next year, and visitors can vote for their favorite. A discussion about public art will be organized, and we have lots of plans, as you can imagine. And the winner of the whole competition will be selected during the exhibition, which is a new thing also for the Finnish State Art Commission. The public's favorite proposal will be announced and awarded separately at the same time as the winner of the official competition. In addition, an interesting concept among the proposals may be rewarded, even if it's impossible to execute, but still shows merit of the artistic innovation which we want to bring out. And the work will be executed, hopefully, 2017. So that's the plan. If we find that kind of proposal that is that we can do for practical reasons. So why did we do this? I've been thinking why. So the reason why we have activated ourselves around the public art at KIASMA, there are quite many actually. First of all, the environment of KIASMA. It's happening a lot in the environments right now. There's an interesting process because there are exceptionally many cultural actors very near to each other. There's KIASMA, but there's National Museum, there's new music hall, just finalized just a couple of years ago. There will be Central Library, a big public project to be ready in 2017. There's Helsinki Kunsthalle, there's the renewed HAM, Helsinki Art Museum, just opened with a wonderful exhibition by Ai Weiwei. And there's a totally new museum project, the private founded Amos Anderson Museum, to be built underground of the square very near to KIASMA in 2018. So there will be then a cluster of cultural actors, and this is a special situation. We want to create interest and sense of place in KIASMA's environment. And of course, the public artwork on the site of KIASMA is way to support artistic excellence. It's an exciting opportunity to see how different artists see KIASMA and its environments. The competition and the following exhibition of the finalists is also an opportunity to expand the scope of public art and promote discussion about contemporary art in public space. So these are the main reasons for us to make it. So these are just some images. KIASMA, the curving building over there, and its environments, actually the environment or the area that belongs to KIASMA is rather small. But then there's a Helsinki city which administrates the other surroundings. So, and of course we cooperate with them very regularly on what we're doing. Another a little broader picture where you can see the music hall the citizens' place, a new public space, and there will be the central library over there. Yeah, it's in English also. And HAM is over here, Helsinki Kunsthalle, well, somewhere here, and Amos Andersson will be there. So lots of cultural actors very near to each other, which is exceptional and which is great. And then, of course, there's the Guggenheim discussion going on, but let's see how it will be. There's still a big challenges on the funding of it. So to wrap up a little bit, so the expanded scope of public art has been discussed already for a long time. It's obvious that contemporary art can get numerous different forms, and the range of public art is more or less endless. But still, I think that at least in Finland, we are only now discussing the possibilities of artistic creations in the public space for real. The initiatives and interest for participatory, process-driven, action-based works are very much growing. There are more and more art that is based on shared authorship and in which inclusion is a key dimension. This doesn't mean that there will be no need for permanent sculptures. It just means that there will be more of a variety and discussion on what public work of art could be. In these digital times, I think it's also interesting to think again, what is public space? A new public space seems to exist in the web, and there are new kinds of public artists whose works live mainly in the internet, or who wants to share their work as open data for anyone who wants to reuse or recreate their works, which is a different kind of concept. Of course, new structures of art market control and power are also emerging to this world. And last but not least, because I'm a practical person too, so the expanded scope of public art means a need for new competencies with us. So production scale structures, resources, platforms, and on the side of challenges, like we used to have regarding the material, technical structure, maintenance, we might have new challenges regarding production, project management. We need new communication skills, we need social media skills, we need audience engagement skills, etc., to be able to work with public art in the future. So my last slide is about these other key institutions who commission public art in Finland. So if you're interested, you can send me an email. I can send you these links, because it's pretty interesting field, and I think we all are in the learning process now, in the middle of change. So State Art Commission, as I told you before, is an old organization working with us, and they have a pretty large budget, and they buy directly from the artists, but they also organize these competitions, and it's around Finland, not only in Helsinki area. And works, techniques and materials vary in great deal. They're very experienced, and there are some media artworks, some new works also commissioned by Finnish State Art Commission, but mainly the works are permanent in their nature. So Helsinki City Art Museum, they are responsible of old statues like Mannerheim statue. They take care of it, the maintenance and everything, but they have also very exciting new public art program, and they really now think they just opened the museum again, and you can feel that they have very exciting ideas how to develop their public presence also, and the engagement of Helsinki citizens to the art through contemporary public art projects. And Vantaa Art Museum, as Emma, Espoo Art Museum, they are the neighboring cities of Helsinki, very near to Helsinki. It's the same metropolitan area, more or less. and they have both of them are specialized in community arts project. So that's also an interesting point. And IHME, you know, Pro Arte Foundation. It's a yearly contemporary art festival, and it's produced by Pro Arte Foundation. The festival includes a lot of happenings, and each year the foundation invites internationally recognized artists to make a special, like a site-specific work of public art. And there has been this kind of, the recent artist has been Yael Bartana, Miroslav Valka, Anthony Comley, these kind of names. But yes, this was it. So thank you very much for your attention.